Never underestimate what silence can do to a woman. You think she'll just forget about you? Not even close. In fact, the moment you go quiet, something starts shifting in her mind, something she can't ignore. And if you do it right, she'll come chasing, even if she was pulling away just days ago. Look, most guys think that in order to keep a woman interested, they need to always be there, always texting, always checking in, always proving themselves. But the truth? That constant attention is exactly what makes her stop valuing you. And when you finally stop talking to her, that's when the real magic begins. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what a woman does, what she feels, when you stop giving her your energy. And more importantly, how you can use that silence to shift the power dynamic without ever saying a single word. Never underestimate what silence can do to a woman. You think she'll just forget about you? Not even close. In fact, the moment you go quiet, something starts shifting in her mind, something she can't ignore. And if you do it right, she'll come chasing, even if she was pulling away just days ago. Most guys don't realize that sometimes saying nothing is the loudest thing you can do. See, we live in a time where communication is nonstop. Texts, DMs, stories, snaps, it's constant. And when you're always accessible, always replying, always initiating, you become predictable. And predictable never equals attraction. The problem is, most men were taught to prove their value by showing effort. So when a woman starts pulling back, instead of pulling away too, they start chasing harder. More calls, more questions, more explanations, thinking that if they just say the right thing or prove how much they care, she'll snap back. But the exact opposite happens. The more available you are, the less value she places on you. That's just how the human mind works, especially in relationships. So when you go silent, it sends a different signal. It tells her that you're not clinging, that you're not desperate, that maybe, just maybe, she's not the center of your world like she thought she was. And that tiny shift, that's what makes her stop and think. At first, she might shrug it off. She might assume you're busy, but that silence starts echoing. She checks her phone more often. She waits for your name to pop up. She scrolls through her chat history with you. Then she starts asking herself questions she wasn't prepared to ask. Why hasn't he texted? Did I do something? Has he moved on? And even if she was the one losing interest, that silence forces her to confront something uncomfortable. She was enjoying your attention more than she admitted. What most guys miss is this: attention is currency in dating. When you give it freely, constantly, it loses value. But when you pull it away, even just a little, it skyrockets in worth. Suddenly she remembers the good conversations, the late night texts, the inside jokes, the way you made her feel when things were fresh. Your silence becomes a mirror that reflects her own doubts and feelings back at her. She might try to act unbothered on the outside, posting selfies, funny memes, acting like nothing's wrong. But if you were even slightly significant to her, that silence you've given her is now creating a storm inside her mind. And here's the real twist. She might even get angry, not because you did something wrong, but because now she doesn't feel in control anymore. And that reaction, that emotional shift, that's her mind trying to figure out how to get that control back. She might reach out subtly, a random reaction to your story, how have you been, text out of nowhere. Or she might do something bolder, send a flirty message, bring up a memory, or even try to provoke a response just to feel something again. That's when you'll know your silence worked. Now here's what most men get wrong when she starts reaching out after you've gone quiet. They jump at the bait. They respond instantly. They give her exactly what she was fishing for, validation. And just like that, the power shift that your silence created is gone. She knows she still has a grip on you, so she pulls back again. This cycle continues until you're left feeling confused and drained, wondering why she acts interested one moment and cold the next. The key is not just to go silent, but to stay silent long enough for her behavior to genuinely shift. You're not doing this to play games. You're doing it to protect your value. When a woman senses that your world no longer revolves around her, it challenges her ego, especially if she was used to being pursued. She'll start testing waters. She might send accidental texts or pretend she messaged you by mistake. She might post specific things on social media hoping you'll see it. Quotes about being unbothered, songs that seem too perfectly timed, thirst traps with captions like mood or he fumbled. But here's the truth behind that kind of behavior. It's not for herself, it's for you. Because deep down, she's trying to trigger a reaction. She wants to feel that you still care, that you're still watching, that you're still hooked. And when you don't give her that, when you resist, replying, reacting, or chasing, it drives her crazy in a way that words never could. You have to understand how attention impacts a woman psychologically. Women are used to being approached, complimented, pursued, especially in today's world, where validation comes easy. But when it comes from a man who suddenly stops giving it, it's a shock to her system, especially if she thought she had you figured out. Your silence makes her question her own desirability. And when that doubt creeps in, she starts replaying everything, every moment, every message, every silence, wondering, what changed? This is where attraction starts to rebuild, not because you chased her, but because you didn't. You're giving her space to feel your absence. That's powerful, because when someone feels your absence more than they felt your presence, that's when you've truly left an impact. She might not admit it, but she feels it, that pull, that curiosity. That need to know what's going on in your head. And ironically, this is the moment when she starts experiencing everything you were feeling before. The confusion, the wondering, the waiting, the need for clarity. Silence reverses the dynamic. You become the one with options, the one with control, the one she's now trying to figure out. It's during this stage that her behavior can go in different directions. Some women will start being more affectionate, more consistent. They'll test the waters to see if they still have a shot. Others might play it cool, trying not to show they're affected, but the signs are there. She might show up at places you frequent. She might bring you up in conversations with mutual friends, or suddenly show interest in things she never cared about before. Your hobbies, your goals, your work, all because your silence forced her to see you in a new light. Not as a guy she can manipulate, but as a man she now has to earn. And here's the crazy part. She might not even know why she's doing it. That's how deep the psychology goes. The brain craves what it can't easily get. And by not chasing, by staying grounded and focused on yourself, you become that mystery that her mind keeps trying to solve. Attraction is not always about what you say or do. It's often about what you withhold. When you stop talking to her, you're not being rude, you're being rare. And in today's world, rare stands out. What happens next is what separates the average guy from the man who truly understands female psychology. See, most guys fall into the trap of thinking that once she starts showing signs of interest again, it means it's safe to go back to how things were. So they let their guard down. They become too available again, too responsive, too eager. And just like before, the cycle restarts. But if you're paying attention, you'll notice that this is actually a test. Not a verbal one, but a psychological one. She wants to see if your silence was a moment of strength or just a temporary tactic. She's testing if you're genuinely different now, or if you're still the same guy she thought she could control. This is the moment when you have to remain centered. Don't fall for the illusion that one message or one call means she's fully back. A woman's interest is rarely about what she says, it's about how consistently she shows up without you pushing. She might say she misses you, but if her actions don't match that energy, it means nothing. Let her effort do the talking. Let her come to you, not in breadcrumbs, but in real, noticeable actions. When you hold that frame, when you continue living your life with or without her, working on your goals, staying quiet unless there's something worth saying, you create something she can't easily shake. That's when she starts to truly value you. And here's something deeper to consider. When you stop talking to a woman and she starts spiraling emotionally, even if she hides it, it's not just about missing you. It's about losing the emotional control she thought she had. And the truth is, a lot of women don't just chase love, they chase emotional power. Your silence takes that away from her. It forces her to confront her own feelings. It forces her to face her own mind without the distraction of your attention. And that can be terrifying for someone who's used to being the one in control. Think about it. How often does a woman stop and genuinely think about her behavior toward a man? Not often, because most guys enable it. They excuse it. They reward disrespect with more attention. They accept mixed signals and overthink the smallest crumbs of affection. But when you stop talking to her, it forces her to reflect, to ask herself why you stopped, to question if she messed up. That's when growth happens. That's when accountability starts creeping into her mind. Not because you lectured her or demanded it, but because you gave her nothing else to react to. Sometimes, silence is the only language that makes someone listen. And when you use it the right way, you're not just making a woman miss you. You're making her reconsider everything. She'll rethink how she treated you. She'll remember things she never gave you credit for. She'll suddenly realize you were more valuable than she admitted, maybe even more than she realized, because you didn't beg, you didn't argue, you didn't explain, you just vanished. And in that space, she now has to fill in the blanks. And here's the twist. People tend to romanticize what they can't explain. When you don't give her closure, her brain starts creating stories. Some good, some bad, but all of them keep her thinking about you. That's how you plant yourself in someone's head, by leaving them wondering. And if you've truly walked away from a place of strength, not out of bitterness or games, but out of self-respect, then even if she comes back, you now have the power to choose. Do you want her back? Or do you now see that she never really matched the value you were bringing in the first place? Either way, you've already won, because you're no longer reacting, you're observing, you're no longer chasing, you're choosing. Now here's the real moment of clarity. The reason silence works so well isn't just because it makes her miss you. It's because it gives you clarity too. It pulls you out of the emotional fog and lets you see the situation for what it really is. You start to notice things you ignored before. The double standards, the emotional games, the way she only put in effort when she felt like she was losing you. And that's when you finally stop craving her attention, because you realize you were trying to prove your worth to someone who was never truly appreciating it. That shift in mindset, that's what real power feels like. When a woman starts chasing after your silence, it's not just about wanting you back. It's about regaining the control she once had. But when you've already emotionally detached, when you've already let go of needing her to validate you, you stop being pulled into that cycle. You can look at her return not as a reward, but as information. Is she genuine this time? Is she consistent? Is she willing to do the work? Or is she just reacting to the loss of control? Your silence gave you the upper hand, but your standards decide what you do with it. Most guys never get to this point. They break the silence too soon. They answer the call, they reply to the message, they start posting things just to be seen. But the ones who hold the line, the ones who stay focused, grounded, and unfazed, those are the ones who see the truth. A woman's real feelings don't come out when you're chasing her. They come out when you stop. That's when her mask starts slipping. That's when the games stop being fun. That's when she has to decide, does she want you for real, or does she just miss the feeling of being wanted? Because the second she realizes you're not waiting anymore, that your life didn't pause for her, that you didn't fall apart without her, that's when the reality sets in. And if she does come back, she comes back different, humble, intentional. Or she doesn't come back at all, and that too gives you all the information you need. Either way, you win. Because silence isn't about manipulation. It's about revealing the truth. And when you stop talking to a woman, you're giving her the space to either step up or step out. No more guessing, no more overthinking, no more giving energy to someone who isn't giving it back. So if you're in that situation right now, where she's distant, inconsistent, or taking you for granted, just know this: silence isn't weakness. It's your reset button. It's your power move. It's how you protect your peace and demand better without ever raising your voice. And the woman who truly values you, she won't just notice the silence, she'll feel it, she'll sit with it. And if she really wants you, she'll do something about it. Watch the next video right now.